This was one of the craziest weekends in baseball I've ever seen, between grand slams, 3-homer games from a pitcher, and more. Just an exciting weekend of baseball to talk about. My name is Luke, and welcome to Yesterday in Baseball. Again, like I said, we had a crazy game on Friday. We had a grand slam to send Seattle on to Toronto with a chance to win it. We'll talk about that. Dodgers and Milwaukee, that was pretty crazy. The Brewers ended up getting swept by the Dodgers, who got single-handedly beaten by Shohei Ohtani. And then last night, the Blue Jays forcing a Game 7 that'll be tonight. We're going to get into that and even more action. So without further ado, we'll travel out to Seattle and recap Game 5 from Friday. Seattle took Game 5, winning 6-2. It was a close one most of the day, but Seattle had lost pretty much all their hope as they were down by 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. But big dumper Cal Raleigh came up and hit a moon-scraping homer to left field, just clearing the wall, tying the game at 2. And the bases came loaded thanks to some walks and hit by pitch for Gino Suarez, who fought in that at-bat and finally got a fastball to hit to right field, opposite field blast, for a massive go-ahead grand slam, putting them up 6-2 and helping them win, setting them up for just needing one win in Toronto. Then later that night, Shohei Ohtani had his legacy game as he almost single-handedly punched the Dodgers' ticket to the World Series with his performance in that 5-1 victory. He was the starter for LA, and he kicked off the night with 3 strikeouts in the first and then hit a leadoff homer in the first inning, which is a preview of the entire evening. LA did get a few more in the first, but Ohtani did it again in the 4th inning as his homer went out of Dodger Stadium, making it 4-0, all while he continued to dominate on the mound. He worked into the 7th inning, but finished the day going 6 innings, giving up no runs on 6 hits and striking out 10. Just minutes after he got pulled, he cemented his legacy game, hitting that 3rd homer of the game, making it 5-0 LA. He's the first pitcher with a multi-homer game in the postseason history, and certainly the first pitcher with 3 homers in October. That stat will likely stand the test of time. That win secured the Dodgers spot in the World Series, as for the 2nd consecutive year, they'll punch their ticket, and they swept Milwaukee, getting to represent the NL in the Fall Classic. All that action now takes us to last night, where we had Game 6 of the American League Championship Series between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, and the Blue Jays won 6-2 and forced a Game 7 that'll be played tonight. The Jays got on the board early as a couple of errors set up an Addison Barger and IKF RBI singles to make it 2-0. That inning could have gone a lot worse, but it ended up just being 2-0. Then Addison Barger added on more as he hit a 2-run shot in the 4th to put them up 4-0, and then a Vlad Guerrero Jr. solo shot in the 5th made it 5-0. Seattle pushed back thanks to a Naylor moon shot and an Eugenio Suarez single, which made it 5-2. That ended Trey Savage's incredible day as he went 5.2, giving up just 2 runs and striking out 7. The Jays scratched across their final run, making it 6-2 on a wild pitch as they keep their hopes alive and force a Game 7. Now that Game 6 in the ALCS was pretty interesting. There's a lot of double plays, and I want to talk about Trey Savage. Again, we've had kind of an interesting sample size with him. He's got 3 games now. He's had 2 pretty much lights out performances and then that 1 kind of outlier. But his composure through this series has been really impressive. Through those big moments, multiple bases loaded, chances for Seattle, and he just kind of shrugs it off and escaping with double plays. The Mariners grounded into 3 double plays, squandering any opportunity they might have had to get back into it. And yeah, I mean, he's striking out guys. He led off the game really with a hot hand with the strikeouts against, a good Seattle offense still. But I don't know. It's interesting. Toronto's hitting has continued to be more consistent and impressive than Seattle in this series. I mean, Seattle, they've had their games, but it all kind of comes in waves. So I think the key for them tonight will just be to try and get that going and for Toronto to shut that down. Next up, we have Ohtani's legacy game. Per Sarah Langs, it was only the 13th 3-homer game in postseason history, and keep in mind he struck out 10 batters over 6 scoreless while doing that. And not only that, the second of the 3 homers he hit went out of Dodger Stadium on top of that roof in the pavilion. I mean, that's just absurd. There's a very short list of players who have been able to do that and hit it out, so that's incredible. And there's that game last year against the Marlins where he went 50-50, and that was kind of touted as the most impressive performance in a single game in history. Well, I think he outdid himself here, and even in a vacuum without the fact that it's in the NLCS and clinching a World Series spot. 6 innings, scoreless, 10 strikeouts is impressive. 3 home runs is impressive. Doing that in the same game, impressive. Doing that in the postseason, impressive. Doing that in the NLCS to go to the World Series, cream of the crop. And that is why he is our player of the day for the weekend, I guess. And again, in this game, I'll just give you that stat line one more time. 6 innings, got the win, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, 3 for 3, 3 homers, 1 walk, 3 RBI, 3 runs. So that's really incredible stuff, fun to see from Ohtani, and just honestly, it's awesome that we're able to live in a time where we're able to watch every game. I don't live in LA, but I can tune into those games and watch them play. So it's pretty fun, pretty exciting for baseball to have the greatest player who's ever lived playing right now. And anyone who's like a Babe Ruth truther, Babe Ruth was great, but he can't hold a candle to this guy. So that's why he's our player of the day for the weekend. Now let's get into our Game 7 preview for tonight's matchup. That's right, tonight we've got a Game 7 in the American League Championship Series, World Series on the line for Seattle and Toronto. That kicks off at 8:10 Eastern Time, 5:10 Pacific on Fox. George Kirby versus Shane Bieber on the bump. In Kirby's last appearance, he went 4 innings, giving up 8 earned runs on 8 hits, including 3 homers. He's really got to mix something up as they had his number. And I imagine he'll have a very short leash. He'll have just about anybody ready to go out of the bullpen. Bieber, on the other hand, was lights out. He went 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs. You'll take that performance any day in the postseason, and we'll see if he can replicate that. Like I said, it's going to be a short leash for Seattle's guys, and on both sides, you're going to have anybody ready to go, ready to pitch. Should be exciting, some crazy, chaotic moves. Both teams doing everything they can with a trip to the World Series on the line. So as I've been saying, the Dodgers have been dominant, and it could be kind of bloodbath of a World Series no matter what. I sure hope not, but you never know. So try to savor this game tonight. It should be fun. I think that, Toronto has the edge here. Their pitching lines up better. Kirby just hasn't looked great. Bieber's been solid. Although either side is going to have a short leash. They're not going to let either guy go out there and give up more than 3 runs, I would guess, because they just won't have the chance to. But Toronto, their hitting has just been so much more consistent. Most hits this postseason, you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 18 and Ernie Clement with 17. Both guys are just hit machines, and Guerrero's doing it for power too. Seattle has that high-praised offense, but so far in this postseason, it's been very much boom or bust, and those games where they don't, their pitching really has to be nails, and they just haven't looked the part. So we'll see. We'll see how long Kirby goes. I mean, they're not going to have him mix up a ton of things before the last game of the year, potentially. So I'd imagine maybe some pitch mix will change, some percentage of usage and stuff, but I don't think that... So somebody's saying he's got to change his mechanics. I'm like, that's not going to happen. That's not how it works. I feel like watching yesterday, Toronto was playing like loose and like they had everything to gain, and Seattle's playing like they have everything to lose. So we'll see kind of how they look tonight. I'm sure both sides will be nervous and just amped up, and the electricity is going to be just amazing in that building, so should be a lot of fun. Now, for anyone who's listened and followed along throughout the postseason, they know that my predictions have been spot on. Every one of them has been perfect. Yeah, definitely not. They've all been kind of way off. I will say I called Seattle to go to the World Series, so if they go tonight, that's good for me. But as I was saying, I'm going to give my predictions here, and I think that Kirby's going to get hit around early. They're going to have to go to the bullpen, and it's just going to be kind of chaotic. I think Bieber's going to be good, but not great. I think that Toronto, though, their offense is just going to help get it done. They're able to string together the hits that they need. They're able to hit for the long ball. Seattle, it is boom or bust. I mean, I could be wrong here, and Seattle could go out and put out 11 runs and shut them out, and I wouldn't be that surprised. But I'm going to guess a Toronto 6-3 victory over Seattle. It's kind of what we've been seeing. They've been able to get the runs scored. In Seattle, they've been able to score runs too, but it just hasn't been enough, and the pitching hasn't been good enough to secure the victories. So I'm going with 6-3 Toronto. Vlad Guerrero Jr., ALCS MVP, that they will be facing the LA Dodgers on Friday night. That's everything for Monday's show. Thank you guys so much for listening. I mean, what do you guys think? Was that the best postseason weekend of baseball we've ever seen? It certainly feels like that with Ohtani's game and that big one in Seattle and everything. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game tonight. I would love to see Seattle make their first World Series, but I really like Toronto too. Should be exciting. And let me know your guys' predictions for Game 7. I want to hear them. It's a big game, high stakes, so should be exciting baseball. But I'll be back tomorrow recapping that Game 7. Hope to see you guys there too. Thank you again and have a great day.